Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from Bob Cajun, the Hobbit Hole Studio. I'm one of your hosts, Terry, and in fact, I am the only host in the Hobbit Hole. The empty chair in the corner is reserved for my good friend, Jim. Cheers, Jim. A morning coffee. Salute. Yep, a little slurp for you in memory of how we started the show, which was just getting together for a coffee and realizing that we just talk and talk and talk about stuff. And wouldn't it be nice to just do what we love to do, which is sit in front of a microphone, usually with a guitar or something else, and do music, but instead we talk and just press record. We started off the program thinking that we were going to explore coffee. We were going to tour all the local roasteries, and we did head up to Halliburton and further north. I think we went up to Huntsville for a roastery up there. We went down to Lindsay for one that's now that went defunct during the COVID times. And that was our mission, was to go like comedians in cars with coffee. However, we simply ended up surviving through COVID by podcasting via Skype and Zoom. And eventually we got safely social distance. We wore masks. We did all the precautions and survived. And here we are. I think we were both jabbed. Is that the word? If you're from the right, you would say it's a jab. If you're on the progressive side of things, you would say it's science, it's a vaccine, it prevents stuff. Why wouldn't you want it? Well, that stuff is surfacing again in politics, not just in Canada, but in the United States, as Donald Trump cuts and guts his National Institute of Health, his Center for Disease Control, and puts RFK Jr., who is, I don't know if I would use the word certifiably nuts, but close to that kind of thing. And if you've read through any of RFK Jr.'s material, you would see what I'm meaning, including his own recent publication for his Make America Healthy Again document, which includes no less than probably maybe a dozen false references to false sources. The scientists really exist, but the reports don't exist. So it's up to scientists to say, hey, if I'm being quoted in a report, it better be a report that I did in fact author and research I did in fact do. And that's not the case. So when your own federal sources are faked, chat GPT'd, then we're in trouble. And that's in the whole realm of fake news and what do we know about truth and reality. And deep fakes, when you can take images, animate them, take voice samples, and create entire speeches, and you can't tell the difference, we're in trouble. And we talked about that a little bit, Jim and I, on AI. And I talked about a sibling of mine who created, using some AI program, an entire song, just typing in keywords. I want it in the style of this band, this tempo, this instrumentation. It has to be a 4-piece band, traditional rock orientation. Lead vocalist should be, and you can name the artist you want it to sound like. And you can say it has to have a lead guitar riff that goes maybe like Dire Straits, or maybe you want somebody else, a Jeff Beck style. You can describe all of these things and get a tune, and it'll be an okay tune. In fact, it might even be something you might listen to at first, and then you realize it is predictably perfect. And if you know anything about music, you know that it's the foibles of humanity that are the best to be celebrated in the composition of music. So it's all the times you, well, maybe not belch and fart while the mic is live, but stuff like that appears in a track that you wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and say, yeah, you remember when you did that? You knocked over that bottle of beer and went clank on the studio floor. Or you shifted in your chair and went, and it sounded like something else. And yeah, all of that stuff is kind of neat when you realize that the old recordings, especially the Beatles, what did they do? 4 tracks? And now we've got unlimited tracks for stuff. It's awesome. And yet, awesome in a scary way, because can you tell? Well, the song that one of my siblings sent to me as an AI-generated proof of concept was okay. In fact, in terms of musical competence, it's probably better than I could ever do, playing guitar, playing keyboards. But it sounds canned. It sounds, I don't want to say, even though it's a rock style, it sounds like elevator music. Is that possible? Do you know what I'm talking about? If you've checked it out, check out AI-generated music and compare it to your favorite actual recording stars. And I'm not sure you can get AI to dance on the stage like the concerts at the Super Bowl halftime show. Quite a spectacular display of dancing and entertainment rather than just music. Does AI do all that? Or will there be dancing robots at the Super Bowl halftime? I'm not sure. Is Taylor Swift worried? I don't think so. Anyway, that's all an aside to what I wanted to talk about, which was just the first Premier's get-together in Canada has just concluded. And there's a lot to celebrate. Some good stuff. I think there was a statement released after the meeting where they all signed off on it. No dissenters. No storming off by Daniel Storming Off Smith from Alberta saying, if I can't have my cake, I'm leaving the party. And so she was even on board. And although she sounded reluctant, recalcitrant in the CBC interview with David Cochrane, she came off as a little, wait and see. Yes, hopeful, but the proof is in the pudding kind of thing. Hesitant is maybe the best way to say it. But then you had Susan Holt, who's from New Brunswick, I believe, who came off in a very friendly interview with David Cochrane. Same interviewer, same show, CBC. And the difference in tone is palpable. You could see her at easeness, the way she was talking and interacting with the questioner, the interviewer, and it was friendly. It was optimistic. It was, we're rooting for Canada to be successful in all these things. And these 5 initiatives, all the provinces and territories were to come together with their own, these are things that they want to accomplish for their provincial jurisdictions, and now it's up to us to put them all on the table and shuffle the deck and say, okay, Alberta, you want this. Can you give up this so that Saskatchewan can have that, so that New Brunswick and PEI can do this, so that Ontario can get that, so that BC can get this? And let's negotiate. And Mark Carney then oversees that. Does seating matter at these things? Well, some people are trying to make mountains out of molehills, and that's okay. You can make from it what you want. But for me, the outcome seems to be great. Mark Carney just introduced sweeping changes at the border security to protect Canada. To protect Canada from ... fill in the blank. What do you think it's going to protect Canada from? If your answer was Trump and MAGA America, you are absolutely right. 1,000 more border guards, more than Trudeau already offered. Do you remember when Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago and made his concessions? Yeah, we're going to put in some drones, we'll put in some helicopters, put in 1,000 more agents to look after what? Illegal fentanyl? That's all concocted stuff from Trump, designed to make Canadians sweat. Let's see how far Canada will jump before we take them over. How far we can break them before they give up and say, oh, take us over, take us over. All of this stuff. I'm not sure what Trump's intention was, but this week's Premier's Conference was everyone on board, and they were all rowing in the same direction. I'm encouraged. As a Canadian, I hope you are too. It's a positive time to be a Canadian. And I hope this all works out, but time will tell. Most things time will reveal. Either there will be cracks in the facade, or we'll actually get somewhere. It's kind of exciting. Good time to be a Canadian. Raise that maple leaf. Time to claim it back. Jim and Terry Show signing off. Bye-bye.
It's complicated, this relationship I have with my morning coffee.